Hello, welcome to Strength Reversed. It's Amy, long time no see. I haven't made a video in quite a while. My excuse I'm going to use is I've been busy with school, but really I've just been feeling drained on the weekends, and I keep meaning to make a video, but then I'm just not motivated, and yeah. But I have been watching some videos, and I've made it to a couple of lives, and usually the question I'm getting is, where the hell have you been? And that's where I've been. I've been drooling on myself on the couch, and that's all. But I think it's good for us to be able to have time to miss each other. So I'm back and I'm feeling inspired and motivated. And I'm going to make a video today about my tarot journaling process. I'm not going to share any journal entries with you because I thought I personally don't find that helpful because it's so individual. But I do have a great book that I want to share with you about that's just journal prompts, and it's no frills, and it just gets the job done, and I really like it, and I'm going to share that with you. But first, I am burning Pink Beach, which I have burned before in videos, and I did describe in detailed smell-o-vision in another video. And this was a little gifty poo from a Jason at Tarot by the Pines, my tarot kindred. And I had people vote on Instagram, should I burn Pink Beach or should I burn succulents? And I was hoping people picked succulents, but they didn't. And so I've been burning this one. It has, because of the picture on it, and it smells like a spa. I've been burning this one while I do yoga, and it's very yoga-ish. So works well, pairs well with yoga. I do have another one. You can comment down below, or I'll put it on Instagram. I'm going to have to make my quarterly catch up pretty soon, where I tell you about all the things I have not been up to in July, August, and September of 2021. And should I burn and describe saltwater orchid, which is like after a rain, kind of fresh, or should I burn Mandarin Sun, which smells like sipping a cocktail in Key West at the end of the summer as you watch the sunset. It's a metaphor. It's like a goodbye to summer. I know which one I'm hoping you pick, but you let me know below in the description, in the comments, or on Instagram. Okay, I had this video all made, and then my phone flashed this blue alert. There's some escaped convict who do not approach, who's, they're looking for, and he fucked up my video, so I hope they catch him. Okay, so tarot journaling. Of course, I forgot my tarot journal, but I have several tarot journals, and the one that I do when I look deeply into a card is just a spiral notebook, because I have, one journal that's more for research, and then one which is sort of my glossary of meaning, and I like to keep them separate because I think the spiral notebook one is sort of messy, and I revisit cards over and over. That's just how I roll, okay? So I came up with 5 steps that I do. When I want to study a card, you can do this to learn a new deck. You can do this when you pick your daily draw and you really want to go a little bit deeper of what meaning this card has, or just to study the cards. I've used this technique for all of these. You can go through the whole 5-step process, or you can just a la carte 1 or 2 things at a time. So I have the Golden Girls Tarot, and I'm going to use the Fool. As I was doing this and I was looking through the book I'm going to show you, I kind of thought, you know what? I picked the Hierophant as my card of the year numerologically, but really the Fool has been the energy that I've been working on this year, and so I'm just going to go with the Fool. Plus it's the beginning, so, or is it? Is it the end? Who knows? So I have the Golden Girls Tarot, and then I have the Fool from the Antique Apothecary Tarot, and I'm just going to use these as my examples to hold up. So the first step that I do when I do any of these things, study, daily draw, compare decks is I just do a dump. And what that means is I just take whatever is in my brain about this card, whatever I know or feel or think about the card right now at the beginning, and I just dump it on paper. And this usually is in the form of a free write or even stream of consciousness. If I don't really have much to say, I will write that. I don't know, I can't really think. It's not really inspiring me, yada, yada, until something does come up. And this can be anything that I've studied about the card, anything that I experiences I remember, or I always pull this card, or I always feel stuck when I get this card, or I think this card is about this or that. And so anything that comes up, I just dump on paper, and that is the first step. Sometimes when I journal, I stop at this step where I just kind of write and then I stop. But I find when I go beyond this, that's when the golden nuggets, the juicy bits come to the surface. Step 2 is to take a look at the card, and instead of just from my mind what I remember, what I think about the card in general that could probably apply to any deck, I take a look at the specific card that I'm working with and I talk about the details. So whatever is popping out at me, I cannot take my eyes off of her leopard suit, which is fabulous. This is Rose, of course, the Fool. And I will just talk about what is drawing my eye and what I think that means. So I think this is her more primal side coming through. What is that? Is this oh, she's holding a rose and she has a little envelope like she's going to mail something. I'm seeing palm trees. She's about to walk off the end of a pier. What comes to my mind? Take a long walk off a short pier. I mean, I will write that down. Anything that I notice and that comes up about this card specifically, I'll write down. And then if I'm maybe comparing two decks, I'll do that for both cards. And then, what I see that's similar is one foot stepping out and taking that first step. And that's what is similar. There are flowers in both of these. And then we have the blue color. And then I might go into what differences come up for me. So that's step 2. Step 3 is to let my mind go. After I do that and I've looked at all of these details and seen where my attention is drawn, and I've gone through the intellectual, getting all of that out of my mind, I will just let my mind go and go with what feelings, what intuitive hits come up, stories, telling a story, where she might be going, why the author might have picked this, and I just go a little bit more beneath the surface, and maybe I ask my guides to speak to me about this, and anything, no matter how crazy, pops into my head, I will write it down. Do not censor yourself. No matter how random, or that doesn't go, or no, that's not really it. Just write it down and keep going. Don't question that little voice in your head or in your heart or wherever you're feeling your imagination. Because the more you trust it, the more it trusts you and will give you info. Step 4 is I usually will go and read a guidebook or a couple of guidebooks and see what the guidebook has to say about that particular card. So I'm going to pull out the little white book. I don't think this has a little white book, actually. I think this is one of those decks that we all thought, wouldn't it be nice to have a little white book? But this one has a detailed guidebook, and so I would go into the Antique Apothecary Guidebook, Antique Anatomy. Why do I keep saying apothecary? Is there an Antique Apothecary deck? The Antique Anatomy deck. Huh. Where am I getting apothecary? I feel like there's a deck or something. Anyway, I would go into the Antique Anatomy deck and I would see what the book has to say, or even just go into a general, like 78 Degrees of Wisdom. What does Rachel Pollack have to say about the Fool, or whatever? And then I would jot down any notes. What stuck out? What do I agree with? What do I disagree with? What went with what I was saying before? What took a total left turn? What seems completely like nonsense to you and just doesn't work? What really hit home for you? You get the drill. And then step 5 would be to find a journal prompt. Now, my friend Andy Matzner, I have all of his books, and I've read his books, and they're really good. You know, he is a therapist, and so he comes to the table with all of his psychology knowledge, which is interesting. I think that's one of my, like, if I had it to do over again, I would consider that kind of path, you know, or that and doing autopsies, but you know, because I'm weird and a Scorpio. So I love all things psychological, and I did a review of his book, Tarot for Transformation. This is just the major arcana. This has all the psychological info in this book, and it's extremely comprehensive. But another book that I have of his is a very simple book that you can throw in your bag and take everywhere, and it's called Journaling the Tarot. And the first page says, where is it? Instructions. This page left intentionally blank. So it is blank because you just use it however you want to use it. And this is all 78 cards, and it is just a list of journal prompts for those cards. So I would just go through the list for step 5 and see which prompts jump out at you. Because some of them just might not have that charge of energy. Some of them it's like, nah, oh yeah, that's juicy. Now, Andy was kind enough to send me his latest book, which is another journaling book. It's called Journaling the Tarot Evolutions. You can get it on Amazon. And first of all, the cover is another one of those like rose petal-y, you know, you could just do this for hours. And it has a really cool design. But this one is all 78 cards again. And he has one page of an introduction where he basically says, again, use this however you need to use it, or come up with your own journal prompts, because that's really a good way to study the cards. But I'm one of those people who loves quotes, and he had a lot of quotes in his Tarot for Transformation book, but he has some quotes that go with each card in this book. And this, like I said, is the whole deck. So I looked at the Fool because that's been the energy for this year. And he has some quotes here that really make you think and kind of bring you into that sense of the Fool. And some, you know, some work for me and some don't really call to me. And then the next time I look at the Fool, probably different ones will call to me depending on where I am in my life. So you have things like, you must go on adventures to find out where you truly belong. Attitude is the difference between an ordeal and an adventure. That one has a charge for me because it just triggers something in me where I don't like it when people try to convince me that when I say I don't like something, that I just haven't given it a chance. It's like, no, I really don't like it. You know, I don't like the color yellow. You just haven't seen it. No, I don't like the color yellow. Okay. So that kind of maybe is something that I can think about, but that's not even getting to the prompts. So I have a page of quotes, and then there are 61 prompts for the Fool. 61. So the Fool, of course, has many different aspects. There are many different flavors to this card, and there's probably a prompt for any of those flavors. How can you best ensure your physical safety? In what area of your life should you slow down? When was the last time you had fun? What weight have you been carrying? And that prompt is more detailed. In what area of your life should you focus on process rather than outcome? What have you lost? What must you do in order to regain it? When do you feel most yourself? What are you looking forward to in the next year and why? Who or what is distracting you? What are your unique gifts? I mean, it's a lot. So you can either close your eyes and pick one at random, or you can, browse through them and say, okay, what is really calling to me now? And that is the final step in my whole journaling process, because a lot of times it gives you a perspective that is different from what you would come up with yourself. It kind of pushes you to examine the card from a different way, and also examine your experience at the moment in a different way. And it can give you a clue as to what else might be going on. Oh, I didn't think that it might be fear, or I didn't think that it might be something I need to let go of, or a burden that I've been carrying around. Anyway, check out Andy's books. You can find, I think, all of them on Amazon. Andy Matzner. And I've been really inspired by his books, and I've gotten lots of good ideas from them. And I have something that it made me think of as I was looking through The Fool, comparing it to something random that it made me think of just about tarot reading in general that I might make a video about. Anyway, okay, you guys, vote for the Smell-O-Vision, and that would be Saltwater Orchid or Mandarin Sun. I'm not favoring any one of these in particular. Okay, and let me know if you're a journaler. Let me know if you do any of these things. There are so many things you can do with journals. You could sketch, you could do non-linguistic representations, you could do a smash book, you could do a junk journal, and all of that. So let me know what you guys do, and I will talk to you later. It's glad to be back. All right, bye guys.